No radio? No problem. Stream us live on saga960am.ca.
Hi, I'm Norm Murray. This is News Talk Saga 960, and we've got some interesting topics, I think, coming up in the next half hour. You know, the Peel Police have started a police blitz across the city of Mississauga, which is going to run right through the holidays. We'll talk about that for a second, and already they found a couple of guns. Yay! All right, not happy about that, but I'm happy they got the guns. One of them is an imitation gun, so we'll talk about that. Plus, an interesting event coming up at the Markham Theatre. And I realize that's in Markham, and here we are in Peel Region. But tomorrow, a very good friend of mine will be joining me on the air. Her name is Renee Dayton, formerly Renee Torrington, and she's an on-air host of the Shopping Channel. I worked with her for a long number of years. She was a guest for many years. She's now an on-air host. And she will be promoting the Markham Theatre presentation of Sounds of Christmas, and she will be one of the guest singers. So we're going to talk about that event tomorrow. That's about 1:30 tomorrow. I hope you'll tune in for that. As we're just crossing the 1:30 mark, though, here today, we have a very special guest joining us on the air, and it's always a pleasure to welcome any of the great lawyers from kpalawyers.ca at 200 Matheson Boulevard West, Suite 100. We have broadcast there on a couple of different occasions. You can call them for a consultation, 905-965-6263. And you'll find that at kpalawyers.ca, they cover just about every facet of law that you can imagine. So if you have a situation or you anticipate a situation coming up, whether it's civil litigation, employment law, defamation law, debt collection, small claims court, family law, cannabis law, liquor license law, private investigation, business services, charity law, human rights, and more, they are the people to talk to. Now, Emily Banks earned 2 law degrees from law schools in Canada and the U.S. She's a graduate of the University of Detroit Mercy School of Law in Michigan and Windsor Law School, and she practices in the area of family law and criminal defense, currently leading KPA's family law group. Today, though, we're going to bend her ear and talk about criminal stuff. Emily Banks, welcome once again to News Talk Saga 960.
Hi, Norm. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure, and thanks for spending the time with us, because I know time is everything, and right here in the middle of your day, I'm sure you are booked right up pretty solid. Things are busy today for you on a Monday?
Yes, very busy.
Yeah.
Quite a few client meetings.
Oh, boy. So we know, and we'll say this on the website too, you're a skilled negotiator. You state your case to the Crown if necessary, fight for the interests at trial. You have experience representing clients who have been charged with assault, theft, driving offenses, robberies, drug offenses, domestic violence, and on and on and on. And I'm mentioning all that because I want to ask you, what percentage of the time would you say, if you had to pick a ballpark figure, are you in court where there is a jury involved? What do you think?
For myself, almost never.
Now, why do you think that is?
It doesn't happen very often, and it's only when a matter goes all the way to trial.
Yeah. Because now people can occasionally be chosen, it seems, at random for jury duty. Anybody who's ever received a letter in the mail saying you've been selected for jury duty. Is this something to get our back up against? Is it something to fear, or is it something to embrace and look forward to? Like, hey, I can contribute to society here. What does it mean when you are selected for jury duty?
So I would say it's something that you should embrace, but I know it's definitely not the regular feeling. You'll know more about if you're going to be called because you'll have been mailed a questionnaire that you have to fill out, that you have to send back. It just talks about personal things about yourself, about how old you are, schooling, your work, that kind of stuff. And then after you do that questionnaire, you can be possibly called for jury duty. But that doesn't mean if you're called that you will be selected to be on the jury. Okay.
So basically it's like a warning. Not a warning. I know that's a bad word to use. I don't mean that. But how is... Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead, Emily.
So, sorry. What it means is if you have to get called for jury duty, you get called with quite a few other people, and you have to go through the selection process at that point. And so if you get called, it doesn't mean that you're actually going to be picked to be on one of the juries.
So how do they do it? Do they literally just metaphorically go through the phone book and pick out 500 names or 1,000 or 50 or whatever the number is, is there any rhyme or reason to the selection at that end of it before a notification is sent out?
Not really, not at all.
Okay.
You just have to be over 18.
So any Canadian citizen, is that what it is, over 18?
Yeah.
And so when I receive this sort of notification, what if I decide, I don't want to do this? How obligated am I? Is it against the law to turn it down? What if I don't want to do it?
You have to show up to the jury selection. If there's things that stop you from being selected as a jury member, then when you're there for the jury selection, that's when you come up and say that. So there's a few things. One is your occupation. There are a list of occupations that are not allowed to be jurors. These are things like medical professionals,
radio announcer,
police officers. No, sorry, Nor.
Okay.
But it's more people who are participants in the law, so judges, lawyers, police officers, that kind of thing. They get to not become members of the jury, and it's because you have knowledge of the law. You're not really a peer to the accused, right? And that's the point. The point of having jurors is they're the peers of the accused.
An impartial opinion, I guess, right? Somebody who
exactly.
Yeah, okay, would be like the layman, if you will, or the everyday average person from all walks of life. And do they ever try to select according to cultural background? And the reason I ask you this, Emily, is I remember watching some court things on TV from the United States, admittedly, and it seems like the news outlet always breaks down, for some reason, the cultural background of the jury. Oh, well, there were 4 whites and 6 blacks, and there were 7 Hispanics and 3 of this and that. And I'm thinking, who cares myself? But is that ever a determination when choosing who they are going to bring in for jury duty?
So it's not of who gets called in. It could be something that the lawyers look at when they're deciding on if they're going to accept or refuse one of the jury members. So once everyone goes through to decide if they can or can't be on the jury in the jury selection, and there's other things where you can get out of it, sickness, employment, schooling, that kind of stuff, you can try to get out of it at that point, and you might be called again. But once they've done that, 12 jurors come and sit down, and then the lawyers get to ask them some questions. Now, Norm, you talked about some U.S. TV.
Yeah.
We are very different in Canada than U.S. in picking juries. We don't do what's called voir dire in the United States, where they get to ask them a whole bunch of different questions. We don't really do that here. We really just talk about what their jobs are and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm.
We're speaking with Emily Banks from kpalawyers.ca, and they're at 200 Matheson Boulevard West, Suite 100, just west of here, Ontario, right up there at Matheson. I've been at the offices a couple of times for broadcast purposes, I might add. And it's if you want to call for a consultation, they're the people to go speak with at 905-965-6263. And they speak your language. That's something else I've noticed on their website, which means whatever language you feel most comfortable communicating in, or family members do, they have somebody there who will be able to speak fluently with them and for that consultation and information. Anyways, they know what they're doing over at kpalawyers.ca. One last question for you, Emily. So now I know you're a member of Legal Aid Ontario's Family Law Panel, Criminal Law Panel. You're qualified and authorized to accept legal aid certificates in both areas of law, whether it's family or criminal. But about jury duty, if I do elect to or want to, or as you say, embrace jury duty, what does it actually involve? What are my responsibilities? I mean, I'm feeling a little nervous about this, and I haven't been chosen yet. So what do I have to do?
So if you are chosen to be the juror for sit on a matter, you would have to show up to court every day, pay attention to what's happening in the courtroom, not talk to anybody else about what's happening in the courtroom, and then once the matter is complete, then you get to be put in a room with all of your jurors, and it's called being sequestered, and then you guys together jointly decide if someone is guilty or not guilty.
So this could go on for some time, though. Are there like real heavy cases? Automatically, I'm thinking, okay, what if a case goes on for 3-4 days or 3 or 4 weeks? What happens?
Yes, it is possible for matters to take weeks.
Yeah.
And at that point, you'd have to still be there every single day for every day that there is trial. Now, you do get to know around about how long a trial is going to be before you sit on it.
Mm-hmm. Now, what about my employer? When I tell them, guess what, I've been chosen for jury duty, I'm gone. Is this holiday time? What are the laws there? Are you up on that?
So I don't practice in employment law, but
right.
employers are required to give the employees their time off for jury duty, but they're not required to pay.
Right. So am I being paid as a juror?
Sometimes. So it depends on how long you're there for. So if it's 1 to 10 days, you're not getting paid. 11 to 49 days, you're getting $40 a day, and anything more than 50 days, you're getting $100 per day.
$40 a day, that's my dessert tab. I mean, that's not very much, but anyway. All right. You know what? This is fascinating to me, and I don't know if anybody listening has ever been affected by this directly or indirectly. If you know somebody chosen for jury duty or received notification or was given consideration at some point, but I thought we would cover that today. kpalawyers.ca are the people to talk to, though, to get more specific about that and anything else in law. They're at 200 Matheson Boulevard West, Suite 100. That phone number again for Emily Banks or any of the wonderful lawyers, 905-965-6263. Emily, thanks again for joining us on such short notice. That was my fault. I know I only gave you a couple hours notice to rearrange your whole day, and I really appreciate you for that very much.
No problem. Thanks for having me, Norm.
All right, we'll talk to you again. Bye-bye now. It is 17 minutes before the top of the hour. Take a short break. Come back and tell you about something else, legally at least. There's a weeks-long police blitz that has started just this past weekend in Mississauga, and already they've found some guns. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so let's keep our heads screwed on here. And also, what else is on the way? We'll tell you about a provincial program that is pledging a lot of money for seniors programs in Mississauga, and some other things we'll get to before the end of the hour. My name is Norm Murray. This is News Talk Saga 960. Join me back again right after this.
No radio? No problem. Stream us live on saga960am.ca.